a little steeper so that it's got somewhere to fall into. It has some space for the shaft to fall into, allowing it to travel a little bit more from behind him. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you feel like you are someone that goes to the top of the swing and your right arm goes forward, your right shoulder goes forward, and you just can't stop getting the shaft from coming down steep, then this is probably the video for you. So let's get into it. So here in front of me, I have Aries, and Aries really struggles with getting the club coming down too steep and in front of him, leading to some quite heavy contacts and some face and strike issues. So what you'll really see him do here on the left-hand side is as we take him into the backswing, the very first thing you'll see is he rolls the golf club a little bit on the inside. Now, straight away for me, that sets the plane of the golf club on a very shallow one. So for players that get the shaft very, very shallow, because we're playing a sport that's on the ground, they are very likely going to have to steepen it in an effort to try and find contact. And if we continue to look at this, what you'll see now is he goes to the top and he gets it a little bit across the line. Not really an issue for me. But what we will see is as he comes down, that right arm starts to work this way. So it starts to work this way. His wrist angles start to push out in front of him. And at halfway down, we can see that he's got the shaft pretty much back online, but it is starting to steepen. Whereas if we look at him here on the right-hand side, what you're going to notice is he takes the club back a little more vertical, and then he's able to shallow it with one of my favorite drills. Now, this is a really simple drill that I had him do, which stopped his club working this way in front of him, started to see the club fall behind him. Now, the first issue to understand is he actually got the club way too flat in the backswing. And as I said before, because we're playing a sport that's on the ground, he is going to have to do something in an effort to make decent contact. And he is quite a good player. So the first thing we got him doing was understanding that it's important to swing the club back perhaps a little steeper so that it's got somewhere to fall into. It has some space for the shaft to fall into, allowing it to travel a little bit more from behind him. Now, the drill I got him doing is a very simple one. You grip the club in your left hand, and with your index finger and thumb, I want you to just pinch the golf club like so. Now, holding it very lightly, because there's no force on the club, I can't actually push with my right hand and do that. Because there's so little pressure onto the golf club, I can actually allow that club to fall into the palm of my hand, come halfway down, and then rotate into the finish. So let's give that a go. If I grip this in my index finger and thumb and just try and hit some little shots to start with, feeling like the shaft's going back a little more steep, and then I let it fall into my palm. Let's see what that does. Now, my first piece of feedback there is it actually felt quite strange not having anything come from my right hand, but I did like the idea that I could feel the weight of the club starting to fall behind me. And I think if I do this enough times, I can really start to get a decent piece of feedback on where that club head is. That's the first thing I'd say. I have very good awareness of where the weight of the club is now. Whereas when I'm going back like this, I can really feel that his right hand is pushing forward. Whereas now I'm allowing it to come more behind me. I guess I feel a lot more patient from the top. I'm waiting for the club head to start shallowing out behind me as then I turn. Now, the one thing I would say is you don't want to continuously drop the club, because that's going to make the face play open and the club get too shallow, and then we're really not going to be able to hit down on that golf ball. So to be a little bit more accurate at this, what I'd say is, as I take the club back what feels like the butt of the club inside the ball line, I only really want to let that fall into my hand until my arm gets back down to parallel to the ground. And then it's time to turn, because I have got to get the club working back out in front of me at some point. So let's give it one more go. So a little bit steeper inside the ball line, feeling the weight of the club drop behind me. Now I didn't quite strike that, but I definitely felt my arm start to move a little bit this way. Even my shoulder felt like it went a little bit that way. Then what I'd do is I'd start to do some small, slow, deliberate swings with two hands. So this time again, just feeling like I'm turning my shoulders. The club is coming back just inside the ball line, and I'm letting the weight of the shaft move, and the weight of the head just move back down behind me. And I can really feel that, like I said, in my right shoulder, rotating more behind me. I can feel my wrist starting to flex and extend and move back. Let's just do one with two hands slowly. So again, a nice small one to start. I blocked it a little bit where, again, it's really important to understand that as we do this, the face can play open. And I've mentioned this before in my videos, if that does start to happen, what I would suggest is making sure that the knuckles start to roll a little bit more down into the finish position. So let me try that one more time, where we're going to go to the top, let the weight of the club fall behind me, but then into impact. Make sure it's okay for this left arm to start rolling down and around. Let's give this one more go, see if I can hit a nice little draw onto the flag. So there we go. I started to close the club face alongside it, and it really, really straightened up that ball flight. So I hope you found this video useful into one of the drills that I would actually use with players. You can see there Ariz again, when he was moving this way and then pushing his right hand on top. The opposite to that is to move back with it a little bit steeper, pinch the shaft, and then allow the club, feel the weight of the club drop behind you, and then hit the golf shot. So one of my go-to drills when I'm trying to get the trail arm to work in that fashion. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did like it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you could subscribe, that'd really mean a lot. Thanks, and I'll see you soon.